Well, I don't know what any other course of action would be. Now, I was thinking about coming on the podcast this evening and saying, okay, this is all the more reason why we must defeat Trump at the polls by reelecting Joe Biden. But I don't know if that's enough of a clarion call to save democracy. I don't think it is. I really don't. I don't think enough Americans are paying the least goddamn bit of attention to this. How many people, if we went out right now, stopped people on the street and said, what do you think about the Supreme Court ruling this morning? Are you fucking kidding me? People would look at you like, huh? What, abortion? What? And then this grinning fucking monkey, this orange son of a bitch Donald Trump, who is now parading around acting like a winner, posting on his toy social media platform in all caps, congratulating himself on his big win. Big win for our Constitution and democracy. Proud to be an American, is what he posted. Well. Now, I know there were many, many people who anticipated this, who absolutely knew that this corrupted Christian supermajority in the Supreme Court was going to give Trump not only a pass, but was going to guarantee that once he becomes president, he can do any fucking thing he wants to do. Therefore, he must be stopped. Joe Biden can stop him this week. Arrest the son of a bitch and charge him with treason and attempted insurrection on January 6, 2021, and put his ass in prison in a federal lockup someplace, and then let the courts decide when to put him on trial. Who is going to complain? Oh, I know his followers will complain. Shoot the motherfuckers. That's very simple. If Trump's followers take to the streets armed and attempt to free a person who belongs under a jail, who has been charged or arrested, I should say, and charged and locked up until a hearing for treason, and his bully boys come out of the woodwork with their phony little fake military uniforms and their sunglasses and their facial hair, shoot the son of a bitches as soon as they pop up out of their little hidey holes. And you'd have a perfect right to do it. I mean, this is what happens when a group of people, scum, try to overthrow a duly elected presidency, which this son of a bitch has been trying for the past 4 years, and his minions, and his inner circle, and his high command. Nazis all. So maybe it's time that we stop this pussyfooting around, this mealy-mouthed bullshit. Oh, well, let's wait and see what the Supreme Court says. You know goddamn good and well what the Supreme Court says. You have known it for the past 15 or 20 decisions to come out of this fascist-controlled supermajority of Christian insane people. So how much, I mean, seriously, what could we possibly learn about what is happening in this country that we don't already know, that we haven't seen? The 3 justices on the Supreme Court who dissented, 3 of them, just 3, and bless their hearts, 3 who did not want to rule in a manner that said, well, the king does have a right to do what he wants. It doesn't make any difference about the Magna Carta or any of that horse shit. The king has a right to do what he wants because he's the king. The three so-called liberal justices, and they're not liberal, they're defenders of the Constitution. They disagreed. And individually, Sotomayor and Ketanji Brown Jackson issued blistering dissents. And they argued that, quote, it reshapes the institution of the presidency and makes a mockery of the constitutional principle that no man is above the law. Well, it turns out that there is one man above the law, Get your ass in gear, Joe Biden. Arrest this son of a bitch. Put him in jail. You have right to do it. Not only do you have the right, you now have the obligation. They are overthrowing our government. Arrest two of these Supreme Court justices. Throw them in jail. Put them in adjoining cells with Donald Trump. I mean, what's the delay? Sotomayor, reading her dissent from the bench, which is unusual, she said, quote, that relying on little more than its own misguided wisdom, the court gives former President Trump all the immunity he asked for and more. She added, this is Sotomayor. She added, because our Constitution does not shield a former president from answering for criminal treasonous acts, I dissent. End quote. Oh, my God. Well, the decision today, if we are to continue this fucking charade that we have to follow the rules, we have to allow delay after delay in the courts, we have to allow appeal after appeal, we have to do this because, we play by the rules. The son of a bitches trying to destroy America do not play by the rules. When have you ever heard of a fascist attempt to overthrow a government played by the rules? Come on. This is why democracies, when attacked by dedicated fascists, fail. Because the democracies continue, the people representing the democracies continue to insist that the rules must be followed, while the fascists say, fuck the rules. We make the rules. Anyway, the decision today makes it, impossible for Jack Smith's prosecution to continue. The one that charged him with, where he claimed to have immunity, the one where he was charged with federal crimes in D.C. He was indicted last year, indicted by a grand jury. He was indicted. This is another reason why this hideous, throat-clutching decision it is so destructive, because it wasn't Joe Biden who said arrest the son of a bitch, charge him with crimes. It was a grand jury who said, we've heard the evidence, and we feel that what was presented to us in the form of evidence is all that's necessary to issue indictments against this orange son of a bitch who's trying to destroy the country. So not only does the Supreme Court rule that Trump can do any fucking thing he wants to, or any president for that matter, but they've also destroyed the grand jury system. I mean, this is just like the Dobbs decision that ended Roe v. Wade. And the ripple effect from that madness continues to reverberate all over the country. Look at all the shit going on. Women dying or coming close to it, bleeding to death because of the Dobbs decision. What do you suppose the ripple effect from this decision is going to be, gentle listener? Sotomayor said that the majority opinion, which was written by the Chief Justice, whose name will go down in infamy for the rest of history if history is allowed to be recorded accurately. It was written by John Roberts, and Sotomayor said his opinion invents, quote, an atextual, ahistorical, and unjustifiable immunity that puts the president above the law. And she went on. She said the ruling makes three moves that she said, quote, completely insulate presidents from criminal liability, end quote. Sotomayor said the court creates absolute immunity for the president's exercise, quote, of core constitutional powers, like declaring somebody is committing treason, creates, continuing her quote, creates expansive immunity for all so-called official acts, and declares that evidence concerning acts for which the president is immune can play no role in any criminal prosecution against him. Any evidence, in other words, of a crime having been committed is now, according to this fucking insane Supreme Court, is now off limits. You cannot present evidence showing criminal acts were committed if the charge is against the President of the United States, because he is right up there with Jesus fucking Christ. His word is absolute law. His decision is absolute. This makes the kings, the ancient kings, look like paupers where it concerned power. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.